2, 1. There it is. All right, let's go. Good afternoon, everybody. By everybody, I mean Garrett so far. What's up, dude? Okay. Good afternoon, guys. How's it going?
Well, that was quite the wick on the last 5-minute candle there. I don't know. Maybe the SPY just doesn't have it in it.
Maybe not. That's kind of what I was looking at. So, we're checking out the SPY. So, we just completed a quick scalp trade for those that are not in the Discord and we're not trading with the rest of us the whole day. What we had so far this morning was we had a really nice gap up on the market, and just before Biden started speaking, I actually saw some weakness in the SPY right around 450 cents, and took a short position, rode it all the way down here until we started bear flagging, and then broke above the 200 moving average on the 5-minute EMA. So I decided to exit that short position there. Took about $500 in profit. It's like 470, but close enough. And then we saw this bounce happen off of the 200s. So we went long for a quick scalp, took another 250 out of the market. Now we're waiting to re-enter our short position for a swing trade to take us to 390 on the SPY. So if we get an ideal entry up here, I'm looking for a SPY to get rejected off the top of the VWAP ATR bands. That's what these, if you look very closely. I'll get rid of the head and shoulders, but take note that there is a head and shoulders on the SPY that I'm currently watching. So draw that for yourselves if you like. The top of the VWAP ATR band is right here at 492, which is probably a little bit optimistic. So I'm actually going to drop that down to, let's see, I'll drop that down. Uh-oh. It froze my order. Gotta cancel the order in the interface. Okay, we'll try that. We'll try that again. I'm going to set the order right up here at resistance, and I'm going to set my stop loss right above the top wick. And I'm going to go back in for my original risk. This is pretty much all house money here because I took a short trade and scalped about $470 out of the market on the way down, and then took another 250 on the way back up. So now I'm pretty much playing with just the house money that I got today. So this is going to be a 600 maximum risk if we get executed. So if we fill at 422, I'm actually going to drop this because I think that the market maker won't allow it to get that high. Let's just try to get I should have had it here. We'll just set it down here. 399.37, and I'll move my risk up here because I still want that stop loss to give me a lot of room. ATR band, it's bouncing off of VWAP. I'm so indecisive right now. I'm just so indecisive. But I do think that the SPY is going down. I'm just fiddling with my entry. I will enter into this position before the day ends, though, no matter what. So don't worry about that. So where do I think the SPY is going? I think the SPY is going down. My main thesis for why is that we've got this very clear head and shoulders pattern that's getting ready to print here on the 5 and the 15-minute chart. One other confluence that I have is that the MACD got rejected here. It was attempting to cross bullishly, and it got rejected. And we had this cross down outside of the price cloud, and then we've had multiple bearish divergences on the RSI right here. So the price has been going up, making new higher highs, and the RSI indicator has been making lower highs continuously every single 1 hour candle. So that's more than enough to convince me to go short. What's more, we have a bearish butterfly pattern on the harmonics indicator. So that gives us our first price target at 390. I think that that's a really good target, actually. So I'll tell you what, I don't really want to wait for this entry, man. I kind of don't. We're starting to print a shooting star here, and I don't want to play. Yeah, we're breaking this bear flag. I don't want to play here. All right. So I've got my entry here. At 398.75. Now that I've adjusted my order, it's probably going to go back up to where I would have got filled anyway, because of course it would. If it goes up a little bit further, then I'll average down by another $100 and add to this trade. I'll adjust my indicators for you guys so that you can see what I'm looking at. I'm not making this trade based on the 15-minute chart. I know that we do have this bullish crossover. Like I'm not just I'm not like blind to it. I'm just not trading based on that cross. I'm trading based on this rejection of the 1-hour chart and the RSI divergence that we see here. So every new lower high that we've had on the RSI divergence coincides with a higher high on the price chart. So that lets me know that the market is getting ready to turn down. I'll set up another order right here to automatically average down my position by another 150. So if that gets filled, then I'll have added to my position. I'll still be down on the trade overall, but the idea here will be that I get a better fill on a slightly larger risk, and I can ride this to the downside for what will hopefully end up becoming a $2,000 take profit. Let's go see where else we can scalp some money out of the market. All right, so the Qs are getting rejected by VWAP, which I actually like the look of that even better. This head and shoulders is much more bearish. So since we are pretty much hitting all these tops, I think I can get a fill up here. And then we'll play the Qs to the downside all the way down to here. That's a really good risk-reward ratio. If I could get this filled, then that would be beautiful. So this trade would be for a $300 risk on my stop loss, which is set up right here. We've had multiple bearish divergences on the RSI on the 15-minute and on the 1-hour. So it's not highlighting it here, but this is bearish divergence. Lowering highs on the RSI, higher highs on the price, and we've had multiple bearish crossdowns on the price cloud MACD. So if we get one more little pop out of this, hopefully I'll get my fill. Actually, what I should do is the same thing that I did with the SPY and get a... I should actually get a partial fill here and get into a small position and then average down once it gets up there. That's what I should be doing. So let me adjust this. So I'm going to do this order for 150. I'm going to get that executed right now. I'm going to set this order for another fill to add another, we'll do 200. So that'll bring our total risk up to 350 if we get that fill. If we don't get that fill and it goes to the downside, we're at least in the position and it still meets my risk to rewards, my risk to reward mandatory minimums. See a $200 risk and a $860 take profit. That's great. This one is a $150 risk for a $380 take profit. That is a little bit better than 2 to 1. It's like 2.1 or 2.2 to 1. So I'm okay with that. And that way, now I don't have to like feel FOMO and I don't have to chase a trade. I can take my initial position here, wait for my main bulk of my position to fill later, where I think that the technicals can take it to. And that way I'm not taking any unnecessary risk in the trade. I'm not going all in right away. I'm just taking that small initial position so I have a position, and then I average down for my original risk that I was willing to risk in the play. And the only downside to that is that I make slightly less profit if the trade goes in my favor. Hey, Matt Pickering. Welcome to the stream. Eric. Hi, Kari. Thanks, guys, for joining. Devil's Advocate. Yeah, I can give you a quick recap of Biora's earnings. The main message that came out of that that earnings call was basically that the company is on track for its schedule to complete all of its preclinical trials for the OBDS, that's the PGN 600, and the PGN 602. Those trials are going well, and they are making progress. The direct offering that the company has made pulled in about $9.75 million. They got about $3.5 million of that from Ethereum, and they got the rest from private investor. The private investor was not disclosed, but we'll probably see an SEC filing at some point because that is a pretty sizable position. The outcome of the meeting, though, was pretty much that nothing's really changed. They still are going to need more money in order to get to the point where they're ready to deliver their product to market, and they still need a partner. There was no partner announced, so although we speculated that they might announce a partner, that ultimately didn't happen. So we didn't get what we wanted out of that meeting. The expectation is that they're going to vote for a reverse split in the next 90 days, which is probably going to pass. That is mainly going to be decided by Ethereum, who still holds a majority position in their stock. They basically have filibuster voting power. So whatever Ethereum wants is what Ethereum gets, and that's what Biora is going to do. Retail doesn't have the voting power that even if every single one of us voted against a reverse split, it would still happen. In my opinion, a reverse split is necessary to get them back into NASDAQ compliance because although we don't want a reverse split, absolutely do not want them to go to the OTC markets, because if that happens, the stock will never recover. The pill can track your farts. Yeah, no problem. No problem. I think I'd be okay with a pill that can track, like, my metabolic health. I don't think I need to know how often I flatulate in the day, though. That seems like the definition of TMI.
I don't know. Could be a sign of indigestion or something else, something bigger. Maybe you need to know how much flatulence you're expelling throughout the day.
Do I, though?
No, you don't.
Do I, though? Yeah, this is definitely a Head and Shoulders. Yeah, my take profit's it's in the right spot. Okay. So this is a measuring stick. I'm setting this up as a measuring stick based on the distance between the base of the chart and the head on the Head and Shoulders. The idea here is that I'm setting up this measuring stick for when there is a breakout. This is where my take profit should be. It should be no further than the tip of this measuring stick. So I've got my take profit in the right spot. You place this, you measure it starting from the base of the move to the top of the head on the head and shoulders chart. Then you move the top of the measuring stick to where the breakout below the neckline is. So this is the neckline. That's where the head and shoulders hits its bottom. So set up the top of it here, and then you measure to the bottom. And as long as your take profit is somewhere in this area, you're good. And then you just hold the swing and have the conviction to let it play out. You set your stop loss above the head on the head and shoulders, because if it breaks the head, then it's no longer a head and shoulders. The pattern has been broken. So I am front running the trade on this head and shoulders pattern. Ordinarily, you would not trade a head and shoulders this way. This is considered to be too early because the head and shoulders hasn't fully formed. But I am front running this trade because I see other technical patterns that support my thesis with bearish divergence on the RSI. We've had 3 in a row, and we've had multiple cross downs on the MACD on the 1-hour chart. Momentum is moving in our favor. So I'm comfortable taking that trade. And my risk is going to be quite small as well. So I got stopped out of my Johnson & Johnson trade, which was a bit frustrating. So I'm going to hold an order down here with the hope that it will come back and fill me and I can trade it to the top of this channel. But I'm honestly not happy about getting stopped out of that trade. NVIDIA is another trade that I'm currently in right now. I believe that NVIDIA has hit the top of its chart. We're seeing a rejection off of the MACD on the 1-hour chart, just like we did with the SPY. The Taiwan conflict between China and the U.S. is probably going to add to tension in the area, and that's going to lead to a shortage of semiconductors. There's a possibility of a big flash point resulting in some serious bad news tension between U.S. and China over Taiwan, and that will almost certainly result in a drop in semiconductors. I don't think that it's what people are considering a possibility of. Everybody's
Mm-hmm.
been really euphorically bullish on all the semiconductors lately, but when I look at NVIDIA and I look at AMD, I see that it's been trading in this narrowing channel to the downside. This is a descending wedge, but it's also getting ready to hit its head on the 200 daily EMA. So for me, this is the top of the chart. If NVIDIA is going to break out of the descending wedge, it's not going to be yet. I don't think it's going to happen this time. That's just my opinion, though. Let's see. Tesla, I'm expecting to break to the downside with the market, and maybe we'll see another bounce in Tesla once it finds support somewhere in this range between 160 and 175. And I know that that's a really large margin of error, but I do think that Tesla's going to experience some more problems here sooner rather than later. I'm not taking the trade just yet. Oh, actually, you know what? I am going to take that trade. I was waiting for this to break to the downside. I want to wait for this 1-hour candle to close outside of this bear flag / ascending wedge, and then I'll take the trade to the downside. And I will set that up with a stop loss up here, take profit down here to close this gap. But I really want to wait for one more candle to close outside of that ascending wedge. As long as it doesn't re-enter this ascending wedge on this 10-minute candle, then I'm good to take my trade. It's close. It's threatening. It really wants to play with my emotions. We'll come back to that at 12:30 or 3:30 Eastern. Thoughts on Netflix? Oh, what is the PCO saying? That's actually a good question. PCO is showing bearish crossover on Tesla repeatedly on the 1 hour. And on the daily, we're probably getting a cross to the upside. But the cross is not happening outside of the price cloud. We had one cross outside of the price cloud up here. Then we tried to recapture support and then broke down again. So I think we do have one more low left in Tesla, but if we set up a higher low or maybe double bottom down here, then Tesla will probably bounce from that point forward. But I do think that Tesla has another low ahead of it in its near future. Okay, Emmanuel, I am going to take a look at Netflix for you. Netflix is one of the ones that I'm actually hesitant to short. It's broken above its 200 daily moving average, and it's still trading in that area. And it's about to hit my price target on a long trade that I had set up. I had this short trade ready to go, but so far it's not hitting it. So I'm actually going to I'm going to set a limit order up here. If I get this filled this week, then great. And if not, then, well, no big deal. Because Netflix is not one that I have super high confidence in, but I don't want to get into the trade before it fills this gap. As a matter of fact, I think I kind of want to. I'm going to adjust this quite a bit here. I want to stay really far away from this. I'm not going to take the trade unless there is a solid swing here. This would be an almost 7-to-1 risk to reward ratio on this trade. Netflix is just looking too strong. I don't want to mess with it. But it's near its top of its chart, so it could turn back down in the other direction at any point. And if I see that happening, then I'll take a trade. But I'm not going to get an entry short or long here because it's right at that point where it's like, if I were to go long, there's not enough profit to make it worth it to me, but it can still keep going, and I could definitely get a better entry to the downside, and I don't want to see that much of a drawdown on my position if that's the case. So if it turns around tomorrow, then I will take a short because there's this this rising top here, and I see RSI divergence getting ready to happen, but it's still not enough to give me full confidence. So I have to wait on this trade. Matt Pickering is requesting MMAT. Yeah, I've been meaning to take a look at MMAT today. We've got a little bit of time left in the market so that everybody can get their trades. I do like the look of the chart. We had this. I guess you can consider it a cup and handle. It doesn't quite meet the qualifications for a cup, just because the cup would need to have come from here and then created the U. But it's still a bullish pattern. What you're getting is a parabolic arc pattern. You see how the chart is setting up higher lows every single time. Eventually, when this runs out of steam, usually after it starts to go vertical, it comes down really hard, bounces, and then you end up dropping all the way back down to the original lows. So right now, it's got that slope that's starting to go, but you're near the top of the chart. So you'll probably end up seeing the price come back down to set up a new higher low again. And then once you see that bounce happen, then you can take the trade to the long side and go up to the next step up. And how do you detect when you've hit a low? Best way, in my opinion, is to look for crossovers on the MACD on the 1 hour during a downswing. So when the price is moving down and you see the bullish crossover on the MACD outside of this price cloud, this is called the price cloud oscillator. It's basically a MACD just with a price cloud. You can use this to time your bottom. And then what you do is you look for bullish divergence on the RSI, like here. Well, actually, that doesn't quite count. Let me go over to regular trading hours. So on this chart, you're still in consolidation on the 1 hour. But on the 15-minute, you've gotten a bullish crossover. And now the RSI is starting to turn up. I think it's early to get an entry right now. I think that instead what you should probably wait for is for the 1 hour to cool off on the PCO. See it come down like so. And then when the slow line gets crossed like this, I imagine the price will probably be somewhere down here around 170, maybe down to 160. Then you can take your entry and then go back long. But right now, it looks like it's losing steam. Main reasons why I say that is because volume is dropping and the price is going sideways, which is consolidation. It is a good thing. But eventually, this has to relax. And that's a normal, healthy price movement. If I were to take a guess at where it will relax to, yeah, 170 and 160 are both significant Fibonacci retracement levels. So if you get a retracement to 38% retracement level, then that's where you start thinking about going long and you start looking for the cross. And if it touches the 50 at all, and it looks like it might cross, you can take the long trade if you trust Fibonacci's. The reason why is because the Fibonacci 50% retracement level is one of the strongest. So if you see this come back down to 160, you're very likely to get a bounce. So what you could do is you could just have a buy limit order sitting here waiting to get filled, and you can catch the bounce. It'll knife through and then bounce right off of it, and you can get V-shaped recovery if it's super volatile. Or if it just slowly works its way down, eventually it'll touch it and then come back in the other direction. How I would be trading this if I had a long position currently is I would probably close about 80% of my trade up here because it looks really good. And you're probably very near the top. Like the RSI is kind of stalling out here along with the price. So I'd close 80% of my position and I'd wait for that retrace and then re-enter the full position once it bounces off that 50 level. Or if you get a crossover on the PCO below the 38 level. Either one would be a signal for me to take the trade. I have looked at the short interest as well on MMAT for those that are asking or thinking about it. That would be the short interest was looking pretty significant. So I was thinking about it, but right now this is not a point where I'm ready to take an entry on this position. Besides, I've got other short squeeze plays that I'm looking at and doing research on that I'm getting ready to take. Getting ready to take public. I have to finish getting my research done though, because I don't want to miss something. What are my thoughts on the Dow 30? I forget what the symbol is for the Dow 30. Help me out here. What's the symbol for the Dow 30? Because normally I look at the DJA, the Dow Jones Composite Average Index. Where I currently think it is actually pretty close to the top. I did get stopped out of this trade, though. I thought that I had found the top way back here, and I ended up being wrong. But now we have a head and shoulders on it, and it's breaking to the downside, so... To be honest with you, I think that I probably should go ahead and go long again. Or go short again. There's this big gap down here that I kind of want to take. It never breaks below its 100 moving average, though. I'll keep it small. I'll keep it small. We're right there at the 50 EMA. I'm going to go ahead and take this trade. We're about to get a bearish crossover on the 15-minute, and we're already in bearish territory. I'm late to the trade, but I'm okay with that. Why isn't it letting me put an order in? Oh, because it's the DJA. I have to go... there it is, DJI. This is where I have to place my short trade. So for Dow 30, my trade would be here. Lol. You have to risk a minimum $400 on this for just one. I think I'd rather go with S-Dow. Man, I can't believe I got stopped out of that trade. That's what I get for trading with too tight a stop loss. I should not have been trading with such a tight stop loss. All right. Okay, we got our fill. That's a $200 risk on S-Dow. I'm betting on the price dropping on the Dow down to the 200 daily moving average. So that'll place it down at 10,926. So if I were to invert this chart, oh, I picked the wrong one. Okay. Very good. Someone said T-belt is running. You did get a nice double bottom here off of VWAP ATR band. Oh yeah, That is a pretty powerful candle. I'm not trading Tough Built, but let's take a look at the chart. Got a breakout of the 200 period 5-minute EMA. Bullish setup on the RSI. Bullish cross on the 1 hour. Oh, what the hell? Why not? I'll take a scalp on this. That way I can at least track the position of the stock. But that's a good setup. Found support here, and I see rising lows right here. Consolidating on a symmetrical triangle. Or I suppose you could call this a bull flag. It's just really short. But this is a really tight swing trade, so if this does end up running, I'll probably hit take profit today, or it'll get smashed down tomorrow, and I'll be out of the position one way or the other. My thoughts on T-Built. I mean, I saw the short interest on it. The thing is that like fundamentally the company is a micro float stock, so it gets pushed around really easily. Does retail have the power to move it? Probably, yeah, with it being such a small float, but market makers have even more money and more control over it. Tell you what, I'll do a quick inspect from ScourgeBot and see what T-Built's short exempts look like. And I'll take a look and see how many of these shares were short exempt versus what the actual performance looks like. And short exempts are really minimal. What floors me is that there's 18 million shares traded in the first hour of the trading day yesterday, and it's a 12 million share float. So how does that work? Yesterday it traded more than 5 times its float. What? S Power had a double top. Okay. Looks like S Power is probably going to come down here soon. I'll have to keep an eye on this one. Let's go take another look at the SPY. Okay, so far the SPY is slowly working its way back up towards the top here.
Gonna need some volume to get past 399.35 here.
I'm thinking about dropping my sell limit.
We've got HYG's moving up a little bit. The bonds are starting to trend down. The Dixie has traded straight sideways for the last 45 minutes. It's just doji after doji after doji.
Yeah, it kind of looks like Dixie's in a little bit of a bear flag, but it just, I don't know, it's doji, doji, doji.
Yeah, it's just pegged. And that's been the major driver for the SPY today.
Yeah, it's been the major driver of the SPY for the last 2 weeks. It's been dropping like a rock. And now it's tapped its 200 daily moving average. So I'm like, that's why I'm super nervous about going long in the SPY for more than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I just look at it like, this thing could go down any time. Whoa. Stay here. And that was a good call out, by the way, J Ruff, on the break of VWAP.
Yeah, no problem, man.
I exited that short position right before the run started and switched long, and it was just perfect timing.
Nice. Yeah,
See,
I
this
saw
is
HYG take off, and there just wasn't a whole lot of other explanation for continuing south, and then the Dixie move. And I'm like, all right, there's the pressure. Give it 30 to 40 seconds, and it's moving.
Yeah, this is going. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and adjust these. Okay, now I'm back into the full size of my position. I'm a little bit higher risk than I would have liked to be with 800, but that's still less than 1% of my portfolio. So risk to reward ratio is still sitting at 2.5. So well within my risk tolerance. I just wanted to make sure that I was in the full position before tomorrow, because I think that we will see a big push to the downside. We might even see a push to the downside in the last 10 minutes of the day. But they're going to hold this thing as close to max pain as they possibly can, which is at 398. 398 even. Keep waiting for Dixie to move.
It's just not giving up any secrets.
Yeah, I know, right? It's just, it won't tell us anything. It's just tell me your secrets. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and drop my Q's trade down to here because I want my entry. That'll be 2.5 risk to reward ratio. I'm good with that.
All right,
Okay.
yields are moving down ever so slightly, 2 and 10 year.
That head and shoulders on the 10-year yield was like perfectly played out. Oh, by the way, 2 plays that I'm watching is Grab Holdings. They have earnings announced in the morning. They've been moving up and they broke this channel. Also, lines up with a diamond bottom pattern. So if this does end up breaking out and they report a surprise in earnings, then I can see the chart break out to the 200 period daily moving average. And they also have this gap here that takes it up to $5. So my play for this one is to stay and grab for the duration of earnings, see how far it can get, and if I do end up hitting a take profit at $4, I will close about 80% of that trade and leave the other 20% open to try to fill this gap up to $5. The other one was Groupon. This is a squeeze play. It's not the one that I was speaking of in my tweet for those that are still speculating on which play that actually is. I haven't told anybody what that play is because I'm still doing research on it, but Groupon is one that has a very high short interest, and it broke out of its descending wedge just recently, right at the tip of it. Their earnings was bad, but they did have positive guidance with expectations to increase profitability in 2023. So the market liked that, and they bid up their stock price recently. I'm kind of expecting a pullback of a 50% retracement, and I have an alert set for Groupon to ping me whenever the price drops back to the 50% retracement level, just under $8.50. So if I see Groupon drop below 850, I'll be looking to enter a position. I'm waiting for this one last bearish crossover to be finished with and to see how much the price consolidates after that. Because right now it's a bit overextended and it's definitely losing momentum for sure. So we'll see what happens. There is the possibility that it could reject this crossover and keep moving to the upside. And if that happens, I have an alert here at $10.35 to let me know. See, how's my NVIDIA trade doing? We're back in the green. Okay, that's what I like to see. Got a lot of green trades lately. I entered a position in ASTS, also not the short squeeze play that I was talking about, but it is a short squeeze play that people were looking at, and I decided to track it and take a small position. Slightly down on that position, but I only got an initial entry because I saw this pullback coming. And so I have a limit order set up here down just above the 200 hourly EMA. And if that executes, then I will have dropped my stop loss down to this area. And that will give me a flat $1,000 risk average. And I'll have a max take profit of around $3,000 with my take profit sitting at $9.99. So I do see this as being very, very good area to start accumulating for this. I do see some potential with this one.
All right, the battle for Max Payne is underway.
The battle for Max Payne.
Yeah, Dixie just popped a little bit, but they're fighting.
Mm-hmm. Apple is starting to show some real weakness now. Head and shoulders on the 1 hour. The neckline is right in line with the 20 EMA on the hourly chart. We did have this golden cross on the hourly, but it got rejected by its 200 daily EMA. So I think that Apple is about ready to start dumping here soon. The whole market is acting like it's hit a top. It ran too far too fast. BBIG trade is green again. Yay. Oh, I figured that some people were going to ask about it. BBIG, I did see the release from BBIG's executive team. They are finally done filling their board seats. So now they have one more component to NASDAQ compliance completed. The last thing that they need to do is to report their earnings. They've got 2 earnings reports to catch up on. And then they need to get their price up above $1 for 10 consecutive trading days. Which I have a sneaking suspicion that a merger with Zash Global Media would suffice for that. I've been seeing a lot of fear from the BBIG community, which is really strange. We were down trading at 70 cents, and people were like, "I'm buying here, I'm bullish," and like they wouldn't stop talking about how bullish they were. And now all of a sudden, now that it's starting to move up, I'm seeing all of these rando accounts talking about like, I give up. Like, this is stupid. This merger is never happening. Like, they keep making these empty promises, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, where are all these people coming from that suddenly say that it's terrible now when it's up from the positions where everybody started buying at the lowest low? BBIG hit a 52-week low. If you were going to be upset, why not be upset then? And I saw overwhelming positive sentiment at that point, and now all of a sudden everybody's upset that the market's moved it up. Like, what's going on?
Sounds a little sus to me.
It's just a little sus. It's just a little. Hey, Richard Klein. I stream as often as I can. I don't have a hard schedule because I work a full-time job. But I usually will stream for Power Hour. So I usually start my streams somewhere between 2 and 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then I'll stream usually for a little bit after the bell, like half an hour to an hour after the bell. But I don't have a hard schedule set up, so I do it as often as I can. Unfortunately, I have clients that I have to deal with. Consultant work is like, it is what it is. My clients make my schedule, I don't. But I do my best. Is Peggy a hold? I don't even know what Peggy is. It looks pretty volatile, but I don't know. Like, I don't know what their finances are like. This isn't one that I'm aware of. It hit a 78 retracement level. Yeah, I have no idea, homie. Pineapple Energy, telecommunications equipment. It's a micro float. And they had a reverse split for 1 to 4. What are their finances like? When is the last time? Okay, they just reported finances. They've been losing income for the most part. They got a 2-to-1 debt to asset ratio. Or I'm sorry, a 0.5 debt to asset ratio. So it's not terrible, but they still have quite a lot of debts, it looks like. Let me take a look at their statements and their balance sheet. So the current liabilities are mostly, it looks like, long-term debt and accounts payable.
Seconds till market close.
Okay.
Look at the SPY fight.
All right. We're going to go back to the SPY then. Sorry, Martin. I don't really have a case for Peggy. I'll have to dig into it. So, ding, 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 ding. That's the bell. So, market is closing at 398.54 on the SPY. So far, I'm pretty much break even on my short trades, but like I only just entered them. Let's go over some of the other indicators that we have to see what the market is doing. So far, I have the HYG and SPY ratio chart. When this is moving down, it indicates strength in HYG versus the SPY. And right now, the market has been moving to the upside. Oh, stand by, guys. I gotta step away for just a second. I'll be right back, and then I'll close up the market with some of the analysis on the ratio charts.
SPY is pushing north after the bell. Got 15 minutes after the bell to keep trading the SPY if you're in any calls or puts.
Okay, sorry about that, guys. I am looking at SPY and HYG ratio chart, and it looks like we did get a lower high on the HYG. Yeah, that's distinctly a double top pattern on HYG. So HYG and SPY have officially diverged from each other. SPY is making higher highs, while HYG is making a double top or lower highs. That tells me that the market is wrong. So let me take a look at HYG by itself.
And your bond rates just tanked. We're under 2%.
Interesting.
2 years are following suit.
The high yield bonds are dropping in value. These are, I do want to, I don't want to confuse anybody. What JRuff is referencing is the treasury bonds. HYG is high yield corporate bonds, otherwise known as junk bonds. They are not related to each other, although their markets can affect one another indirectly. What I'm looking at with HYG shows that the market is not accepting this price level for HYG. We haven't gotten confirmation yet, but the expectation would be for HYG to start moving down. If we see HYG pushing to the downside while the SPY continues to move up or to the side, then this would indicate divergence. And usually what happens when HYG and SPY diverge is that the SPY will follow HYG later. So if the SPY is going up while HYG is going down, then after a day or two of this, SPY will tank very quickly. And on the other end of it, when HYG has hit a bottom and starts going up while the SPY is continuing to move down, that usually indicates that the market is getting ready to get bid up by institutions. The reason why we think this way is because HYG is bet on by large institutions, mostly. The value of these bonds are directly tied to institutional opinion of these corporate bonds. So when you see HYG moving sharply while the SPY is holding still or moving in the opposite direction, you want to start looking to get an entry in the SPY that agrees with the direction that HYG is moving in. So right now, no confirmation yet. We are still waiting. We do have higher lows on the HYG. We need to see a rejection here off this top. We have a two top pattern right here on HYG at 74.55 or 74.75. So keep a close eye on these levels. If we see HYG drop very dramatically, then we expect SPY to follow. Even if SPY starts going up, that just is your opportunity to take the entry, and you swing that out for several days. This is not a day trading strategy. This is a swing strategy. I want to be very clear about that. Let's see what Dixie is doing.
Dixie's slowly trickling down. 10-year and 2 years had a big move down. 10-year just hit a new low from since back to the beginning of October.
Mm-hmm. Which this also happens to be a bounce right off of the 200 period daily EMA on Dixie. Yep. So while on a short-term basis, this could be bullish for the SPY where the Dixie is moving down in the short term, over the long term, we see a new uptrend being established. So this could be a reversal for Dixie. And that's why I would be very hesitant to go long in the SPY. If Dixie does end up breaking these lows and it sets up a new lower low down here below 106 and 20 cents, that would indicate to me that Dixie is heading further down. So if it breaks this bear flag to the downside, then I would feel comfortable going long in the SPY. But if this shoots up and breaks this resistance at 107 even, then the market's going to hate it and it's going to dump in reaction. Right now, on multiple time frames, we've got bullish crossovers on Dixie on the 1 hour, the 2 hour, and the daily. The daily is just now starting to turn around because Dixie has hit its lowest point in the market, right off of its 200 daily EMA. So we're coming up to another inflection point in the market, and what we've noticed, what we've noticed in the past, if we go back to the SPY on the daily chart, when we trade these bear markets, what we notice is that when the SPY hits a top, it hits the top very quickly, just one day, and then it turns around very dramatically. Whereas when it's hitting a bottom, it chops around for a long time before it chooses a direction. So SPY reverses to the downside from the top very quickly compared to when it turns to the upside off of a bottom. So even though we could get another move similar to this, where we get a little pop above the 200 daily EMA on the SPY, this is very possible. We could hit our head off of this resistance like we did back in August. But for me, as a swing trader, I look at the way that this is trending, and I see this rejection off of the 200 daily moving average. And that to me that spells disaster for the SPY, to where I'm looking for a target like going out to the end of December, like sometime after Christmas, for the SPY to come all the way back down to 375. J-Rob, I'm interested in your thoughts because you are talking about going long in the SPY, are you not?
I'm going long on the SPY for very short periods of time. I've been doing a lot of scalping or just day trading on the SPY, and I've been using the 10 and the 2-year bond rates along with HYG, the Dixie, and Bitcoin to kind of watch for moments where they all tend to agree on a direction at once. Okay. And usually when that happens, you've got like 5 to 15 seconds to get into position before it moves.
Gotcha. So let's see how we could chart this out. Let's do DXY.
I had a feeling today was going to be very choppy, and I didn't think that we were going to get a continual downtrend simply being Tuesday and the market moving as high as it did last week, especially Thursday, Friday. That had to put a lot of short positions underwater. So with it holding firm and the CPI and PPI data coming in like it did, very, very good numbers reflecting what they might do in the future with interest rates and becoming a little bit more dovish. I had a feeling that even if we had some pressure to the downside, the SPY was still going to chop pretty hard today, because we're going to have a lot of short positions still covering.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that divergence and I saw Dixie take off. I took a short position on the SPY, wrote it to the downside, then I flipped to calls, and wrote it up. It popped down again a little bit, but then ultimately gave way to the north.
I'm looking at the Dow Jones Transportation Average Index just to see how it compares with the SPY. And interestingly, I see divergence here. Dow Jones Transportation is creating lower highs, SPY is creating higher highs. So for those that aren't familiar with Dow theory, this usually indicates a top in the market. So let me go put the Dow Jones Industrial on here also. I'll take the SPY away. Okay. So Dow Jones Industrial created a slightly higher high with this one little spiking candle. Like, it's really close. But notice this evening star candle here on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And then on this candle today, we reached a new high here. If I move up to a daily, the subtle difference becomes a little bit more obvious. You can see these two wicks. This wick is a little bit, we have a lower high, and this one we have a higher high. This is usually indicative of a top in the market. And they call this Dow Jones theory. We're starting to see the MACD curl over in outside of its price cloud. So this would be a sell signal once this crosses. Let's see. For the Dow Transport Index, we had to have two crossovers, then a third before it hit its top. Back in March, we just had bearish divergence right here. And then Dow Jones Transports took off to the downside on this crossover. So it looks like the Dow Jones Transport Index does have some leading indicators to the Dow Jones Industrial. And when you see a cross down in Dow Jones Industrial, once it confirms its top, will usually trigger the Dow to follow it. I did think I saw a harmonic here. There is one. Keep in mind, everybody watching, that this is all in the context of a swing trade, not day trading. If you guys want some help with day trading, there are a lot more day traders in the trading floor that can help you in our VC chat that are there constantly. Like they're up from market bell to market close, constantly taking trades in both directions.
Hello.
Case in point, J Ruff, along with Chef Pew Pew. Let me take a look at the Dow Jones Industrial. This is probably a harmonic here as well. I gotta wait for it to load. But I have a feeling we're about to get a harmonic to print. Come on. I'm waiting on the 3 dots. Come on, damn it! Tell me your secrets. Hey, Rick Austin. Yeah, we did see the Russian missiles that hit Poland story. We actually called out Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, and DFNS. That's the defensive ETF sector. So if you're looking to take advantage of that move in the defensive stocks, they're probably going to go up while the rest of the market goes down. If NATO gets involved, which is that's the default response if any attack is made on a NATO nation, the default response is for NATO to absolutely wreck the world of the aggressor. So Russia may have just kicked off World War III official because Poland is a NATO nation. Okay, Dow Jones, MACD. So the harmonic did not show up here on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. But what I do notice is that the MACD is getting rejected here. It's very subtle, but notice how the MACD right here is curling over just a little bit faster than the slow line. If this rejects here, then Dow Jones is going to come back down pretty hard. And we could see it retest its low. In which case, I think that the play here... Let me go get my shortcuts up here. I think the play here might be to take some SDAO all the way to the bottom of the market for the next 2 months. 60 days out is pretty good. Let me see how long we would have to go out. So January 20th, 2023 options on SDAO, which by the way, SDAO is an inverse leveraged ETF. So when you go long in SDAO, you're going short on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So calls on SDAO for January 2023, and I'm going to add that to this chart. And I'm going to invert the SDAO scale. That's this candlestick chart right here. And by inverting that, I get a reasonably accurate estimation of what the price of SDAO will be when Dow Jones gets to a certain level. So if my target for SDAO is down here at, we'll just say 29,000 for the Dow Jones Industrial Average, that's about $40.90 on SDAO. Keeping in mind that this is a leveraged ETF, so we'll keep that number in mind. Say $40.80. I'll open up a separate chart. We'll go to SDAO, which I'm already long in, by the way. I might have topped the market. I think I'm going to extend this out. And I'm going to go long all the way to $40. We'll just do $40. So that's a $600 risk. This swing all the way to $40 on SDAO would set me up for a 21 or a 22 to 1 risk to reward ratio based on my entry. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. I have to adjust my stop. Hold on. I'm telling you lies. All right. So that's a 7.5 to 1 risk to reward ratio, which is fantastic. That's a great risk to reward ratio. This is the power of swing trades, especially with these leveraged ETFs. Man, like, they're awesome if you can catch it at just the right moment. General Disarray asks, what do I think about DWAC with the big Cheeto making a statement tonight? So yeah, I'll just be honest. I don't like Trump, and I don't like his company, and I don't like Truth Social. Fundamentally speaking, though, I know that when he announces anything, especially with like joining the presidential race, if he does announce that he's joining the presidential race, then yes, I do think that this stock will probably go ballistic again. It's very possible.
Another play that we've been tracking for a while, it's a numbskully play, Carnival Cruise Lines, and the take a look at that. Take a look at the last 3 5-minute candles.
Oh, this will be good. Hello.
But look at the last. No, go switch to the 5-minute, and turn your after hours on.
Wow. So Numbskully called this drop.
No, we've been playing it and back and forth, but no, he didn't call this drop. That's just something that I noticed. Well, actually, Clint Beastwood called it out in the chat, and yeah, we were talking about calls earlier today, even.
Wow. What the heck just happened?
And they had news this morning about a board, change up in the board of directors, but that was this morning. That was like 7 hours ago. That's not the last 15 minutes.
What the heck? Somebody knows something. Someone on Wall Street knows what's up.
Yeah, that's the last 3 days of gains gone in 15
I'm seeing
minutes.
stuff on Twitter for an offering.
Thanks, Logical.
Yep.
Sorry for the rapid fire key strikes. I had to answer a question at work.
I thought you were brewing up us a batch of popcorn.
It does sound like popcorn, doesn't it? Let's go catch up with BBIG, see where we're currently at. All right, so we had a drop at the close, back down to the 200 period moving average on the 5-minute chart.
Take a look at that link I just posted in the Discord for you. That's that Carnival one.
I'm reading right meow. A little 8K. Thank you very much.
So BBIG is setting up to break an inverse head and shoulders here. I don't know if anybody else has noticed. But just a little bit more, a little bit of a bigger push, and we can see this thing start to take off. I'm going to go ahead and extend out my my take profit to 103.5. All right. Prediction on Trump. Man, I don't know what Trump's going to do. He's the biggest wild card that they come in. He'll probably announce a entrance into the presidential race. I have no doubt. The guy's ego is a mile wide. Carnival Cruise announced a private offering of $1 billion. Man, this company is a dilution machine. That explains everything. Wow. Look at the price go. Time to go and dump everything.
We made our money. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, guys. Big congrats to the team. Well played.
But goodness, yeah. That's fucking awful. I mean, I hope everybody got out of everything. Except for puts. If somebody grabbed puts at the top there, ooh, lordy.
All right. Let's see. I think oh yeah, thank you, Dr. Deface, for this. Let me share this with the stream. Where's my Chrome browser? There it is. There we go. So FBI Director Christopher Wray said that allowing TikTok to continue operating in the United States could pose a threat to national security. Quote, "We do have national security concerns, obviously, from the FBI's end about TikTok," Wray said during his testimony to Congress. Boy, who would have guessed? TikTok is such a security nightmare. Reuters publishes a article. Thank you, Chandagger, for this story. Reuters put out this story that short bets on 2-year Treasury futures is the largest since 1990. Speculators raised their short positions on 2-year Treasury note futures to the most since at least 1990 in the latest week, Commodity Futures Trading Commission data showed on Monday. U.S. Treasury 2-year note ETF. U2. Oh no, they're betting short. They're short on U2, guys. Here's the chart real quick. The ticker symbol UTWO is the 2-year note ETF that tracks the value of treasuries. It's just a basket of U.S. treasuries. And apparently short bets on this thing are, well, the short bets are on the treasuries market itself, but this is a way for you as a poor unwashed plebe to be able to trade U.S. treasuries on a daily basis. This is how you can expose yourself to U.S. treasuries without actually buying the bonds themselves. But rather than actually trading the treasuries, what I would choose to do is to use this as a metric for the value of the treasuries and give myself a little bit of insight to what they may do in the future. Another way to look at it is just the 2-year yield, which if you see the 2-year yield going up like this, then bad things are happening in the market, which should surprise absolutely nobody. So you can see that we've been on this run with 2-year yields for a long time now. Pushing a 500% rise in the yields since December of 2021. Let's see, what else does anybody else want to know? If there's anything else that I can tell you guys before I close out the stream for the day. Have I taken a look at the Rite Aid chart yet? I did, actually. I traded Rite Aid, and I closed my position when it hit $7.20. That was my take profit. I closed my long position. Very, very pleased with the outcome of that trade. I was super happy. Can't even tell you how pleased I was with that trade. See, I might have had another one. Nope, I didn't have one in my paper trading account. But I did have a position in RAD, and I closed it right around here. That was my take profit, and almost hit the top. Very close, very close. Within 20 cents of the top. And that's good enough for me. I can't complain at all about that. Big shout out to CAD for posting that, and big shout out to Numbskully for putting my eyes on it. It was originally CAD's play. Numbskully was paying attention to his feed. Excellent, excellent, excellent trade. Oh, I see. I was being berated for the SPY for calling the EMA the 200 moving average. My bad. Yeah, my charts have EMAs on them. I can add the SMA really quickly. This red line up here, this is the 200 simple moving average. So this is closer to where the SPY had hit its like absolute top back in August. What I've been speculating is that it wouldn't even reach this, and it would get rejected. At the most that I saw the SPY getting to was 410, where it would reject off of the top of this megaphone pattern. I'm sorry, there's like all kinds of mess all over this chart now. I'll take away the EMAs for a second. And this and this and this. Just to try to clean things up a little bit. So SPY rejected off of its 200 EMA today. And I'm speculating that this is the top or very close to the top. The confirmation, though, to receive a green light on a short trade would be for there to be this big cross down on the MACD on the SPY. And for the RSI to create a bearish divergence at the same time. So if the price does end up going through and taking out my stop loss, then I would wait until it touched this simple moving average and then go short. But I see weakness in the SPY now, so I'm kind of just entering into the trade a little bit early. I might just average down. I might, move my stop loss and I might just average down on the trade. I don't know. But we'll see. You're good. You're good, Logical. I fully embrace the moments where I make myself look like an ass. It keeps me humble. But yes, I said SMA or the moving average when I meant EMA or exponential moving average. Subtle but important difference. Okay. Trying to think if there's any other critical tickers that we need to look at. The VIX got real bouncy today. It cracked through 26 on the VIX. That's an important moment for the VIX. If we see the VIX bounce here and reject off of the slow line on the EMA or on the MACD, then I think that this crossover will be confirmed. As a matter of fact, this actually just gave me a green light on a trade and I missed it. I might get a better entry tomorrow, but let's see if y'all can see this. Take a look at this lower low on the price chart. You got a slightly lower low on the RSI. We had a bullish crossover on the MACD, which I had seen this before. If RSI comes back down and bounces, that will be an RSI divergence, and I can take this trade to the upside, and I'll probably trade VIX up to the 30. Hey, Carlton. Let's see, MMTLP. I looked at I looked at MMAT's chart and I saw that it was gathering some strength. I spoke on it a couple of hours ago. So if you want to get the full details on that, I would say that I talked about it around. It would have been around 3 p.m. Eastern time. So like 60, 70 minutes ago on the stream. But this is all what I saw on MMTLP, which is basically the same as MMAT, was it needed to cool off and retrace. So I saw a little bit of pullback down to its 38 EMA, or God, I'm getting all my shit mixed up. Down to the 38 fib level, and then you would start looking for a crossover on the PPO. If it rejects here, then the PPO is going to weaken on the 1 hour. So it's already got a bearish crossover on the 1 hour for the PCO indicator. If it drops down here to the 38 fib level, and then you see a bullish cross of the fast crossing above the slow line, then you would take a buy here, or you would wait until that cross occurs, or if it touches the 50 fib level, then take the buy at that level. That was my assessment of MMAT. I don't think that my thesis really changes here with MMTLP. But as I see it, MMTLP, I don't think anybody can buy it. So if you're holding on to your position, then just hold it. That's the way that I would look at it. I don't have a position in either one of these, but I would closely be watching the price action on MMAT and look for that confirmation that I spoke of, where it bounces off of either the 38 with a crossover on the PCO or a bounce off of the 50 retracement level. Oh, you can buy MMTLP. Interesting. I thought you couldn't buy it. Well, anyway, that's that was my assessment of that one. Yeah, BNGO gave back what it picked up today, but I'm still holding on to that. It's still got a good setup. If we do end up retracing, then I think maybe we get back down to like 260 at the low side, which is right above my stop loss. So I might be puckering up a little bit if it gets that close, but I'll probably just hold it through. Okay. Request for BKKT. I could take a look at it. Okay. So it's breaking down in a bearish channel. It broke support and then briefly recaptured it after earnings. Oh, man. A devastating earnings report. Ah, man. No, I would probably stay away from this one. The crypto space itself, which is what BKKT is all about, is trading and generating cryptocurrency. The market is about ready to take a dump. That's my opinion. I think that Bitcoin and most of the other cryptocurrencies are about to drop massively. The FTX exchange debacle is going to create a huge problem for the entire market. There's going to be a crunch for liquidity going out several months. This is like an Enron scale, bigger than Enron actually. Enron was just a holdings company. Like this is a full-on crypto exchange that's now going bankrupt. And even though all these banks that are tied to it are saying we have no counterparty risk or little counterparty risk to FTX exchange, that doesn't tell the whole story. They're just trying to distance themselves. So that doesn't really truly mean anything. This is going to create a big problem for the crypto market. And we might see a devastating blow to Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the other major cryptocurrencies very soon. And that's going to hurt BKKT. So I don't want to be in anything crypto. But to the point that I was making, BKKT by itself looks really weak. Even if crypto was doing well, I don't think that I would trust this company to perform in the long term. This to me looks like shorts covering on a downswing and taking their profit, if anything. I could take a look at the short interest on it, but it's probably not going to tell any different story. Security lending volume is down. Failures to deliver are basically non-existent. There's a ton of puts on it. The short interest is around 20%, which is high, but the company is getting smashed. So unless it can break above 250 very, very quickly and announce some really good news, I don't see I don't see a bull case for this. It says that they bought Apex Crypto on November the 3rd and it caused their share price to rise, which is a lie. It didn't. It like had a very brief pop and then it got slapped down. So yeah, that's a no from me. The ice should be pumping. This is a safe exchange. Safety's got nothing to do with it, homie. Crypto's getting slaughtered. Everybody is free to do what they think is right and what's right for them, but I don't see good things for this one. Okay, that's gonna have to be it. I'm going to go ahead and close out the stream. Thank you guys so much for joining and watching the stream. If you guys got some good trades out of this, if you benefited from any of the information we shared here, be sure to leave a like. And if you've been here with the stream for this long since the beginning, you should leave a like anyway, because that means that you enjoyed it. If you guys want more information like this, be sure to subscribe so that you can get access to new information as soon as we go live or release a video. And consider joining Hell's Trading Floor at hellstradingfloor.com. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys next time. Until then, have a hell of a time in the markets.